Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I am very excited because I want to do a complete room tour video of my entire movie room. So I guess I'm going to try to do this all in like a one take almost, with cutting here and there to make it, a little bit more seamless. But my lovely wife is behind the camera, so thank you to her. And there was already a cut there because I already messed up. So yeah, this is actually going to be celebrating 1 year of having this channel. I posted a video 1 year ago today, and that was my first video. And so I'm very excited. My channel's at 2,000 subscribers, which is insane to me that I got that within 1 year. So thank you to everybody who has supported this channel throughout that 12-month period. And I guess I'm just going to go over everything within the movie room. I know I did a complete room tour not too long ago, but a lot has changed. There's been a few things that I have not really shown in any videos. So I'm just going to kind of go over, I guess this will be for anybody that has not seen that video. Check this one out because it will be more up to date. So we will dive right into the movie room. So I'm standing outside right now. And I have my little movie room sign, but I currently don't have a door to the movie room, so I just have these curtains, which part of me really likes, but at the same time, there's also a part of me that wants to get like an actual door, and so I can actually put posters on or anything. But for now, I just have these curtains that are from Walmart. So you can just move these aside, kind of just walk right in. And at first, it's a lot to take in. There's a lot of things to look at. But I'm just going to work, I guess, our way around, and I guess I'll talk about every little section as briefly as I can, because I don't want this video to be 2 hours long. It's already going to be a pretty long one, but I guess starting things off right here. So when you walk right into the door, this is the thing to your right. So up top, I just have some box sets or gift sets. These are all my Criterion Laserdiscs. This is my 50 Years of Janus Films box set that I'm very happy that I have. Some more, just a really cool Harry Potter set. And then these right here, this is all of my Laserdiscs. So at one point in life, I was basically just getting as many Laserdiscs as I possibly could. Pretty much if it was available at a good price, I was buying it on Laserdisc. It didn't really matter what movie it was. Since then, I've run out of, I've completely filled this shelf, and I'm actually on, have a little leftover that I need to figure out what I'm going to do with. But since then, I've pretty much focused down to only horror or only Criterion Laserdisc, or a movie that I really like to have on Laserdisc. But over on this side, in this little gap area, are some projector screens. I do have a 16mm projector and an 8mm slash super 8mm projector. I don't really bust those out too often, but I do have those kind of tucked back there. This is one of my newer additions, I guess, to the movie room that I'm really proud of. I really like this section. These are all of my favorite directors. So just starting off at the top here are just some box sets related to those directors. So the Tarantino XX box set, which has all of his films. The Twin Peaks, this is the Blu-ray of the show. This is Hotel Room, which is a miniseries that David Lynch directed. I have a Stanley Kubrick VHS set, Alejandro Jodorowsky DVD sets, and a John Carpenter DVD set, and Hitchcock VHS, and just a Drive Second Sight special edition. So some people have asked in the past, why do I have some titles turned around within here? They're actually not turned around. Right now I just have blank DVD cases for the movies that I do not have for those specific directors. It might seem stupid to some people, but it's a system that works for me. That way I can just quickly see, for just say, like Alfred Hitchcock, for films that I don't have of his, movies that he's made, I can just quickly go and pull out the movie that, I don't have. So this is the film Mary from 1931, which I'm not actually sure if this was ever put on DVD or Blu-ray, but I know that this movie came out right in between these other two because I have this blank DVD case there. But yeah, I kind of do that for all of these specific directors. But I'm not going to go into each one that I have because I don't want this to be super long. And plus, I'm going to have this as a video in the future. I should mention too, while I'm here, I have these like split up into sections, like obviously by the director, with a just like a blank VHS tape in between, which that might drive some people crazy, but it just helps me be like, these are all my Kubrick DVDs or movies, and so on and so on. Like these are all my Martin Scorsese, and like I have them split up that way. That way you can just quickly see directors, and they're also in the alphabetical order by last name. Moving on all the way to the bottom, I just have some overflow Western VHS tapes that I still need to find a better home for. These are the Laserdiscs that are like kind of overflow from over there. And then these are all CEDs, which I'll talk about in a second. I should mention too that up in the rafters on top of this shelf are VHS clamshells. A lot of like Disney stuff that just doesn't fit on a shelf in a nice way. At some time in the future, I would like to get rid of all of those and replace them with the DVD. Some of them I should say that I do have the DVD. I just like the clamshell, and those are just kind of like up there. So I rarely actually watch any of those. It's just more of like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Over here, this is my Star Wars section. I'm a huge Star Wars fan of the original 6 films, and I absolutely love, like, actually, I should say that Star Wars Episode 5 is my all-time favorite movie. If you are curious, I do have a video going over all of my favorite films. I guess my top, like, 15 or something. I don't really remember, but that link will be in the bio. And so it kind of starts up here with some VHS / one cool like I think Japanese DVD set with just different artwork. There's one Star Wars like beta tape up there, and then I have some CEDs of Star Wars. If you're not familiar what a CED is, it was a format that kind of failed in the I think the 80s. I want to say, I'm not 100% sure on that. But it was a format that failed, that when it was being developed by RCA, it was very ahead of its time. Unfortunately, there was a worker strike that happened, and the technology never actually came onto the market in time. And by the time it was released, it was just kind of like outdated already. So it is kind of a weird, fun thing to collect. They're stupid heavy. That's why my whole collection of them was on the bottom shelf, and they're just pretty low quality, I would say, and just in general, just kind of like a really bulky format to watch. I do have a player, which I'll talk about briefly about all my players in a second, but yes, the Star Wars CEDs and then Star Wars Laserdiscs. I have them like individually released, and then I have this cool box set that I found. Then I have a VHS set, a Star Wars 8mm like film. I guess this is like 17 minutes of selected scenes of the movie. And then I have another 8mm film of another 17 minutes, and then like a mini like trailer, I guess, for Star Wars. And then just some other VHS, some box sets, some CDs from like the soundtracks and whatnot. And then onto this shelf, just more DVDs, Blu-rays. I have the Star Wars Holiday Special, which is a bootleg of the Holiday Special, which is fun. And then, of course, just like the original animated Clone Wars, Ewoks, droids, all of those like fun, like small like shows or like movies that they put out. Then I have all the films on, or some of the films. I don't have all of them on 4K. I have all the Blu-ray steelbooks. I used to have all of the like the different editions of the newer movies, so like the Walmart edition or the Walmart exclusive, Best Buy, Target, all of those. But I also did a video explaining kind of why I decided to get rid of all of those different editions. So if you're curious, that's also on my channel. And then I also have here just some like of the Star Wars like spoof movies. So like the Robot Chicken, Family Guy stuff, Spaceballs, and then just some more box sets and the Star Wars Clone Wars show. And then moving on down, these are all my HD DVDs. So some people may remember when HD DVD came out. It was kind of battling Blu-ray, and eventually Blu-ray won for multiple different reasons. But it is kind of a fun format to collect for. They only released about like 400 in America at least. So I think this is a little over 100 discs from like this shelf to here. So I have like a fourth of the collection, which is kind of fun that you can actually own every single HD DVD movie that came out. But moving on down to Superbit DVDs, which was another weird format that was kind of like, I guess, higher. I want to say they lowered the audio quality in favor for higher picture quality. I could be mistaken on that, but I have just a few of those. This cool 3D DVD, I guess, yeah, 3D DVD set, which uses like shutter glasses that you have to hook up this little box to the TV and another little box to the DVD player, and it's like a bunch of like wires and stuff, and it's kind of a fun, weird, quirky format, but I have those. And then I have mini DVDs, which are exactly what they sound like. They're mini DVDs. But I have some of the Harry Potter movies on mini DVD. So just kind of a fun format. And then I have my one and only DVHS tape. This was an actual, I want to say, 1080i. So this is a high definition VHS tape. This took a special player, and it kind of needed a specific TV to, watch it. But these are actually kind of worth like I've seen this sell for like $50, which is insane, that people want those. But I have DivX DVDs, which DivX was a failed rental service put out by Circuit City. Where you would have to pay for a subscription, and essentially it was like you would, depending on the subscription that you paid for, it would determine how long you had the movie for. So you would actually, it also used dial-up internet, which is funny now, but you'd buy the disc and you would put you'd use the disc, but depending on the service that you had, would determine how long you had that movie. So those are all useless now because the dial-up internet doesn't exist. But it's kind of a cool thing to like look into if you're curious. It's spelled DIVX, which is just cool. And then I have CDIs, which was just I guess CD, which is like a movie. It's like CDI, which it looks like a CD, a video CD. And these took also a specific player to watch. And then I have my one and only Video 8. So these were popular on airplanes, actually. If you looked at the first Mission Impossible movie, he gets his one mission on one of these in an airplane. So it looks kind of like those old camcorder tapes that you would get, or like you would use in back in the day. And then I have just a roll of 70mm film. I think this is just like a nature documentary or something. It's really nothing special, but I got it on eBay, so it's just kind of a fun thing to have. And I have my one and only movie CD. So these actually used Windows 98 to run, so you'd actually watch this on a Windows 98 computer, which is just kind of a fun thing to also have. Moving on to this shelf, this is, these are all my screener tapes. So whenever you would go to, screener or demo tapes, I guess, whenever you would go to a, if you had a video rental store, they would send you a screener tape depending on your size, whatnot, to determine if you wanted to stock that movie within your rental store. So I have Mission Impossible 3, which never actually came out on VHS, but I do have the screener VHS tape. So usually it's like the picture shrunken on the screen, and there's usually text running on the top or the bottom or across the picture. But they're just kind of fun to collect for. And then I have here DVD sampler discs of Madagascar, and just a weird, I think this is also a DVD sampler. Yeah, this is a DVD sampler of American Psycho 2. So these are all my head cleaners for VCRs. Back in the day, whenever you would have like a VCR, sometimes the like sensor inside would get dirty, and so you would have to like run a head cleaner through it to clean that sensor. So like you want to have like static on the screen or whatnot. But I have a few of those. Some of them are brand new, which is kind of fun. And then it kind of goes into all my beta tape. I have a small collection of them. I don't have like a ton of beta. I used to buy, whenever I used to come across them at all, I used to buy them. But it's also kind of like turned into the same thing as like, unless if it's a movie I actually really want, I won't be buying it on beta. So, and then these are all my CEDs. Like I talked about earlier, they are very heavy and they're just, I don't know, they're a fun format to collect for. I talked about in another video of like the like horror ones that I have, if you're curious on that. But I don't know, they're just kind of a fun, weird format to collect for. I've seen someone's collection, I would say maybe 10 times the size of this. It was ridiculous, and I mean he was really into them and whatnot, but they are just a pain overall to pull out, to look at, to read the titles on, because I mean they're, you know, just so like the print's so tiny. But there's a lot of reasons why they failed. So and then moving on to this side of everything. So in my last room tour, I actually had VHS, like this whole thing was filled, and then, I mean, it's filled now, but this whole side is filled, and where the director's movies were all filled. So that's like one change, I guess. I got rid of a decent amount of VHS. But this is pretty much all the VHS tapes I have now, with the exception of the thing that I'll show you in a second. But I used to have like just a ton of them. But again, it's kind of changed into buying everything on VHS that I, you know, if anything even looked remotely interested, I would buy it. It's changed now to, it has to be like horror or like sci-fi or something specific that I actually do want, instead of just random tapes. But these are all in like loose alphabetical order, so all the A's are together, all the B's are together, and so on. And I would like to display them better. I don't necessarily like how they are now, but someday in the future I'd like to actually, you know, make it easier to look at, because, you know, just say if I wanted to watch the movie Gold, it'd be very hard. Like I'd have to like pull this whole stack out and it'd just be a mess. So, but that's all the VHS. And I'll talk about projector stuff, I guess, later. Then moving on, let me move my James Dean cardboard cutout. Moving on to this side, this is my tube TV. These actually have gone up in value. I feel like at one point you couldn't give these away, or nobody wanted them, nobody was even after them. But now they've gone up in value because of retro gaming, which I have mine for my VCR and a beta player. And the reasoning is because VHS tapes actually look better on a tube TV, because that's what they were originally designed for. Same thing with beta. I would like to like maybe get a second Laserdisc player, because Laserdisc also would look better on a tube TV than a flat screen. But I basically just have this. It's sitting on this giant speaker that isn't hooked up to anything. And yeah, up here I just have a Toyota. Yeah, and then up here I just have a bunch of VHS box sets. So that's one thing that's like a weakness of mine, is box sets. I love box sets. I don't really know why, but I do. So I have just a ton of those. I think sometimes like the collection aspect of it is cool. Like this 007 set of Tomorrow Never Dies comes with like a book and like some like art cards and whatnot. It's just like a cool thing to have. And then I guess I'll just work my way down. More box sets that this whole section I would like to revamp in the future, but for now this is just how it looks, which I think it looks better than my last tour video. Last tour I had like one shelf here and there's a bunch of stuff stacked on it, and yeah, I would like to basically carry over this shelf, basically move it, and yeah, which that's all in the future, so you'll see that eventually. But underneath these box sets is just some overflow from TV, like the TV shows, which I'll get to in a second. But these are all just like weird packaging. So just big, just like this giant box for like Stargate, which comes with like the soundtrack or the making of the film, which I think is a movie ROM. I don't actually know what this is. Whatever it is, it comes with this cool like box set, and same thing with Shrek. It's just in a giant packaging. And then I just have some of these like 50 movie packs that you would find at like Walmart, and yeah, that's that shelf. And then moving on to up here is just TV shows. So I also have a weakness for like having a complete series on disc. So I like the idea of like collecting every single like one in a collection. So I have just different shows. I really need to dive into some of these. I do have a whole video going over all of my TV shows, which I guess I'll link that as well in the description. So if you're curious on like a more in-depth view of all of these, I guess just check that out. I have Star Wars Episode 5 playing right now because it's my favorite movie, as mentioned. But up here, this section's kind of new, so no one's actually seen this section in any of the videos. But I have box sets up at the top, and then I have all my A24 movies on a shelf here. I originally had these over with my boutique movies, like my Criterion, Kino, Arrow, all those things. But I decided to make a separate section because this like Arrow, like our A24 is not necessarily like boutique, but it is kind of its own thing, and so I decided to put those here. But I have here, this is a Samsung 55-inch 4K. Someday I would like to get a much bigger TV, but for now, this will do. And someday I'm also going to do a video in doing like an in-depth of like all the different serial numbers. And I know I've been saying that for a year now, but basically going over all the different model numbers of everything and just kind of talking about all my different players and whatnot. But I'll do a brief overview of everything. But on the TV stand, I have all my NECA figures. I think they're kind of fun. I don't have a ton of them, but I do have several. And then underneath, I just have a PlayStation 2, PlayStation 4, an original Xbox, VCR. This is just a stereo that I've had since high school, subwoofer, 4K, CDI player, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and a Wii. And then in the corner here, this is just a VCR or VHS tape rewinder. So all the different remotes to everything, but... And then, let's see, moving on to, I guess, over here, which I still need to paint these black, the edges, but this is just kind of all my other different players that are also hooked up to the TV, which I should mention now that I'm thinking of it. I do have a projector here. This is a projection screen that is connected to the projector over there. Which, yes, it is very close, and this screen is not, like, with the projector on, it doesn't fill this screen because it's the distance. But someday I would like to actually build a proper home theater system with, like, a good projector, because that's just, like, standard definition. But it's more of a fun thing, I guess. It's, like, a fun, like, challenge to see if I could, like, wire everything. But basically, everything that you see can be either played on the TV or on the projector, which is a little ridiculous, but that's an option. Starting at the top here, this is my Video 8 player that doesn't actually work. It's more of the idea of it's kind of cool, and it was at Goodwill for like only a couple bucks. And so it's just kind of a cool, like, I don't know, thing to have. I might be able to get it to work someday, but for now I only have one Video 8, plus I have cameras that could play that, like Sleepless in Seattle, if I really wanted to watch it. Then I have a Beta player, or Betamax player. I have a DVD recorder, which I've never actually used, but I have that, I have my CED player running through the DVD recorder because I was once told that the the like picture quality for a CED player, it will like kind of like flicker on a flat screen because it's not designed to do that. But if you wanted to run it onto a flat screen, basically run it through a like VCR DVD combo. And I didn't have one of those to do so, so I ran it through a DVD recorder. This uses a what is it called? A coax jack. So it's like one of those for like a TV antenna. So it's basically, you would need to run that onto a flat screen, which some flat screens still have that, but and then underneath that I have a CD player. So I do have a CD collection, which I'll get to in a second, but and then I have my surround sound, which I really need to actually use more of because I don't really use surround sound when I'm down here. Mainly because I don't have a remote for this, so turning the volume up or down, I have to get up and walk the 2 feet, which sounds extremely lazy. But then I have another Blu-ray player, which is specific just to the projector, and an HD DVD player. And then my Laserdisc player, this is one of those that you don't have to flip the Laserdisc. It has like what's it called, like a needle or an eye, like a reader on both sides, so you don't have to actually flip the Laserdisc. These are all VHS tapes that I still don't really know what to do with. They're just going to kind of be here for now until I figure out what I'm actually doing with those for now. But I'm going to talk about, before I get into all of this stuff, I'm going to quickly talk about the middle of the room, I guess starting off with my chair. I have a tiny recliner that was actually out of a camper because I worked at an RV dealership and they were going to throw that chair away, and so I snagged it, and now it is my movie watching chair. A lot of people ask, where my wife sits if she wants to watch a movie with me, but I would say when I'm down here, I'm really just watching movies by myself. If me and my wife want to watch a movie, I do have a TV up in the living room with a couch, which is a lot more comfortable. But I just have here just like a little, I guess, end table thing. So these are all like DVDs that I have pretty much gone through. I've kind of gone through my whole collection this last year, and I've gotten rid of a lot of things that I just don't really feel like I need to have in my collection anymore, or things that I just want to maybe watch once and get rid of. I've gotten rid of actually a decent amount of things already, and this is just kind of the remaining things of I'll get around to watching maybe once and get rid of. But I would recommend definitely curating your collection, especially at a size like this, because I just feel like it can be overwhelming to keep track of all this stuff. I do like the channel Films at Home. If you don't know who that is, he's another YouTuber on this platform. Makes great content. I would highly recommend checking him out. But he did a great video talking about a curation of your collection. I just wanted to briefly talk about it, just because it's something that it was actually something that I kept putting off, of just getting rid of things can be very difficult. And so I just wanted to basically just try to get rid of as much of things that I just know I'm never going to actually watch. So I have first off the space for things that I actually am going to watch, and also just to if I sell 20 DVDs and that gets me $20, I can buy one Criterion with that. So it's stuff like that, just trying to basically do quality over quantity, which I already have an insane quantity of things that I just need to keep shrinking down. So for now, both this pile and this pile are just kind of like that, still going through stage. But my little Christmas tree, I am filming this. Today is December 6th. So yeah, I have this little Christmas tree. And then moving on to, this is my family video rental shelf. So Family Video was a rental store that existed in Ohio. I don't know if it existed outside of Ohio, but similar to Blockbuster. And they actually lasted up until the year of 2020, which is a wild concept. But when they were going out of business, they were selling off all their stock, and they were actually giving away these shelves. And unfortunately, I was at an apartment, or living in an apartment at the time, And I really wish that I had the space for a bigger shelf. I mean, truthfully, I didn't even have the space for this, but I made it work. But I wanted, because they had two different sizes. This was like the smaller of the two sizes. And so if any of my viewers out there are looking to get rid of a family video shelf, just let me know. I would love to have another one in this in the room. But yeah, so I bought, a couple of the signs that they were getting rid of, and the family video shelves themselves. It is an extremely heavy, like, overbuilt thing, which is just kind of fun to have though within the movie room. So on this shelf, I just have, like, these are all my James Bond, like, different artwork variations, because they came out with a ton of different James Bond artwork, and then kind of just going into these CBS Fox, like, how they're all kind of like that gray spine, and then into RCA titles, and then MGM titles, and then just a random assortment of VHS. And on the other side, which I won't show this too closely because I do want to make a separate video talking about all of my sci-fi VHS tapes. That's kind of what these first two shelves, or 2.5 shelves, is all like sci-fi tapes. And then I kind of go into, like, the 80s. Like, so these are movies that, like, if you went into a video store back in the day, these are the ones that you would for sure see, like, displayed. Such things like Home Alone, Grease, Footloose, Risky Business, all of those, like, things that, like, just titles that you would definitely see in a like, rental store. And then it kind of just goes into more VHS tapes. And so all of these on the bottom are ones that I actually have on DVD, but I like the artwork on the VHS. So some people also might call me crazy for keeping a copy of VHS and a copy on DVD, but I just like the different artworks on those. But I guess I'll move over to this side. So, not much has changed, I guess, since my last video on this, but just some more box sets, a cool Back to the Future cassettes of the soundtrack, and then these are all of my CDs. And I used to buy a lot more CDs than I do now, but this actually goes on to another side. But these are all alphabetical, and then just more box sets. And before I turn the corner here, I guess I'll talk about this. And this is a new addition to the collection as well. I think I talked about this maybe on a live stream not too long ago, but this is my film shelf. So I semi-recently purchased a bunch of 8mm films, and so I have a bunch of 8mm and 16mm movies on this shelf. I designed this to be kind of like a corner shelf, and so it kind of just wraps around this little corner over here. And a lot of these are like educational films. It's like, driving tests, or, what to do in like a robbery situation, stuff that like you would show to like employees, or like a classroom of people that you would, if you had a business or a school or whatever. So a lot of them are just kind of like stuff like that, at least the 16mm. Some of the 8mm are actually like movies. And so this is like The Circus with like Charlie Chaplin, The Great Dictator by Charlie Chaplin. There's some, I'm trying to think, I'm blanking on all of them now, but there's some other comedy stuff in there and just some older fun stuff. But I don't really watch film all that often. I really should more because of how much I have. But I also do have some random, like, this is just like people's family vacations, which is, I don't know, I got like different antique shops and just stuff like that. And it's kind of cool to see like a time capsule of, like Christmas in the 60s, and just kind of see what like people were getting for Christmas, or, our family vacation to Disney, like, and so just to kind of see cool stuff like that, I think it's just kind of fun. But as you can see up in the rafters over here as well is more VHS tapes that I don't, they're just kind of up there. All of these right here are 35mm film trailers. And so these are little guys that would be shown in front of a movie. And so this is for like Sony PlayStation. And it's 30 seconds long. So these would be spliced in front of a movie if you went to like the theater. And so I have a bunch of those, and actually more over here, which I guess I'll talk about this section. And so this is different from the last video that I did, and sorry it's kind of dark, but these are all 35 millimeter film trailers as well. And so I had books here before, and so I decided to basically take the books out and put in 30, like all of these trailers here. Underneath that is just kind of a mess that I still need to deal with. Those are all like audiobooks. And then in this little cabinet thing is a bunch of like game controllers. So, you know, all my PlayStation controllers, my Wii controller, all that stuff. And yeah, just stuff I don't really play video games all that much. But these are the ones that I do have, which I guess I'll move from the light. But on top, you'll see just some bigger box sets, and then all of these video games, I guess, that I have over the years. And I've already done a video talking about all of my sci-fi video, like all my sci-fi movies. So if you're curious on like a closer look on all of those, there'll be a link in the description as well. But that is what all of those are, is all sci-fi, and then into superhero movies, which I will do a video eventually talking about all the different superhero movies I do have. So sometime in the future that will come to be. And then over here is just kind of a continuation of the CDs. So it kind of fills this whole little shelf here, and then it kind of wraps around onto this side. And then I had just more like of these like cool like gift sets, and just other box sets and things of that nature. And then I have all my cassette tapes. I don't really collect them as much as I used to as well, just because I'm just not that into music. But I do like music. I just have, I don't know, I need to actually listen to a lot of these. And I do have a small vinyl collection, but that is in the living room, so that's kind of separate than all the other music. But let's see. Over here, I just have some other box sets that, like the Lord of the Rings sets, Harry Potter, Rocky, Indiana Jones, stuff like that. And then it kind of moves on to my like main wall of movies. So this is everything that is not sci-fi, not horror, or not like a boutique label. So this is kind of my general movie section. I separate things out by format, and so I have 4K, and this kind of goes along with everything else in the rest of the collection. It goes 4K, Blu-ray into DVD, and so that is also alphabetical in each of those sections. So kind of starts here and just kind of works its way all the way across and down as you go. And then ends over here with the movie Zulu. And then it kind of goes into all of the like Disney and kids stuff. So it goes, 4K, Blu-ray, DVD as well. So it kind of just works its way all the way down into Christmas. So I do have a small like Christmas movie section. And I also like have some Christmas VHS tapes in there as well. And then it kind of goes into my like quote unquote like good bad movies, I guess. So movies like Birdemic, The Room, Troll 2. I'm trying to think of other examples. Just like what is that? Battlefield Earth. Just kind of like movies like that that are just like enjoyably bad. And so I have a decent selection of those that I've collected over the years, along with some fun VHS tapes as well. And so this is kind of like works its way. This is the rest of that like massive movie wall, I guess, of just like my general stuff. But up top here, I have all of the Best Picture winners. And so this was a collection that was one of my first like goals within collecting, was to get like all of the movies that have won Best Picture over the years. And I pretty much have everything except I think like the newest, or like a couple of the new ones that I just haven't gotten around to getting. But that was actually kind of a challenge, was to hunt down a lot of those ones. But and then I just have a Scarface box set over there. But so moving on to my favorite section of my whole movie room, This is the kind of the view that you get in all of my videos that I have made on this channel, where this is kind of like the backdrop, and or it's kind of like this for live streams. But this is my absolutely favorite section of my whole movie room, and it's kind of like, in my opinion, just kind of shows off like why I love movies so much. But this is the Criterion Collection wall that I have. If you are familiar with Criterion, you'll kind of recognize a lot of this stuff. But if you're not familiar, Criterion is essentially a label that they take films from around the world that would be like otherwise just lost to time, and basically restore them and add special features. And their goal is to basically like release movies at the highest possible like format, and the quality, to basically just open up people to different movies and different types of films, and different like cultures with movies. And I absolutely love it for that. I just feel like there's a lot of movies within here that I personally would not have been able to find on my own, unless if there was like a curated collection such as the Criterion Collection. Just putting out movies that like kind of, I don't know, it opens up your mind a lot to what movies can be, and this like the type of stories that are impactful or like important to like history. And so I really love this collection. I do have a decent amount of them. If you watched any of my other videos, you'll know that my goal is to eventually own all of them. And I just, yeah, I absolutely love this section. And right now, I'm like, I've seen up to like, this is what, 195. And so I've seen all of these. Obviously, I've seen a decent amount of other ones mixed in here as well. But the the Criterion Collection to me is just something that is worth spending the money on. They are not the cheapest thing, but they are definitely, in my opinion, worth it. Some of them are out of print, which just means that they don't make them anymore. And so some of them are kind of harder to find or more expensive. Each movie is numbered, and so this is spine number 1. And what I mean by spine number is that there is a number on each of the spines. And so it kind of like one spine number per movie type of deal. Sometimes like a box set will have like a spine number, and then each individual movie will also have a number. But that is like what the Criterion Collection is in a nutshell. If you are curious, I would highly recommend checking out Daisuke Beppu's video. He in my opinion, Daisuke Beppu, he has the best collection on YouTube, mainly because he has all of the Criterion. And so I'll also link his channel down in the description as well. But yeah, I absolutely love Criterion. I love what they do. And they've released up to like 1,200, somewhere in that range right now. And so I have about half the collection, and I still have a decent ways to go. But yeah, I did also I should mention too, I do have another video going over my whole Criterion Collection, and I'll link that in the description as well. So I guess I'll just have all my videos linked in the description. But moving on from just Criterion, I also have a couple other things up here. This is a Arrow Video box sets. This is also, I guess this is a Criterion, and those are Criterion, which I guess it's just the Arrow Video box set that's different. But speaking of Arrow, Criterion ends around here for me, and then it kind of goes into Arrow Video, which is just these, and kind of ends here. Well, no, it actually ends here. And then it goes into my Scream Factory, and so it's just all of this. And so I have all of those. And then into Vinegar Syndrome, which starts here, and then it kind of works its way down to here. And then into Grindhouse Releasing, which is another like kind of boutique, I guess, label. And that's just these few here. I need to get more of those. But then into Severin, which is just all of these. And then I have one of my MVD visual like 4K collection. I think they've only released 2 of them as of right now, but I have one of them. And then I have my Vestron video titles, which I would love to get all of those with the slipcover, but not a huge priority for me right now. But that goes into my Synapse collection, which these are all like, if you're not familiar with boutique labels, these are all what I would consider to be boutique labels. And so I have a bunch of just different ones of those, like meat boutiques, meaning. But yeah, then I go into Blue Underground, my one and only 88 Films, my one and only Indicator title, and then I just have some random stuff here. This is just like a experimental film collection. And then I have like a Trip to the Moon, Blu-ray, and these are kind of just movies that I would consider to be like more artsy and not necessarily like made for like entertainment. It's more of like art house stuff. But and then I go into my few Twilight Times releases, and then I go into Kino Lorber, which, much like Criterion, I would say Kino is another one that's kind of like they do the same. They have like the similar mission. I guess also same thing with Arrow, but they have that similar mission to them. But these are all Kino, and it stops right here. And then into Olive Films, which was a boutique label that didn't really make it. And then just some more artsy stuff, like the original Phantom of the Opera from 1931, I believe. And then like Unchan Antaloon, which is just like one of the first like experimental films. Then it goes into Warner Archive. And then I have a small section here of Shout Factory. So Scream Factory is part of Shout Factory. I personally enjoy Scream Factory stuff more than Shout Factory, but it's kind of whatever. And then this is just stuff I need to eventually put away. That's some of the stuff you might have seen in my last video. So moving on to my horror section. I love horror. I just love like how they, like in every horror movie, like you're like pretty much trying to pull an emotion from the audience, similar to like a roller coaster ride where you're trying to like thrill the audience. I think it's just kind of like, it's a fun like genre in that way. And it's also a fun genre just to see special effects and just how they've developed over time. And so I just absolutely love that. But I've done an in-depth view of all of my horror box sets. If you are curious, I'll also, I guess, link that in the description. And I've done the same thing with all of my, like a complete horror movie collection. So I'll just do a quick overview, but I have horror box sets all the way around here. And then in the same sense, I have 4K into Blu-ray into DVD. So just kind of this whole section, and then it kind of wraps around up to here. And then up in the rafters, I also just have more box sets that don't have a home anywhere else. So this was actually a slight change to the previous complete room tour video. I built this shelf for all the horror VHS. And so if you are curious, I do have a video on my channel kind of talking about just kind of showing how I built this. It's pretty in-depth, I would say. But I should mention now that all of the shelves that you see, all these like wooden ones, I built myself. They're not perfect, but they all work very well. And I've built them over the years for different like rooms or different like for an apartment. And so that's why they might seem like weird sizes, is because they're all built specific for different situations that I've just kept moving over the years. And so someday I would like to go through and kind of revamp them and just kind of make them more suitable for like this room and like specifically. Because this is the first time I actually have a movie room rather than, you know, a movie room / bedroom / you know, I guess that's computer room. But yeah, this is a kind of a new, I mean, this whole movie room is pretty new relatively. I mean, it's only a couple years old, or even it's less than 2 years old. But this is just all horror VHS, all in alphabetical order. And yeah, that just kind of works its way all the way down there. But I think that is it for everything. I think I went over everything in the room. But let me know, guys, in the description or in the comments if you want to see me do like a closer look on anything. I guess I also should mention that this is my 16 millimeter projector. I kind of forgot to talk about that. Just kind of a fun, it's one of my favorite things that I own. I think is it's just kind of a really cool thing to like actually watch film on a projector. There's just something about it that I absolutely love. And then this doorway just kind of leads into like back storage stuff and like the furnace and all that fun stuff of a house that, you know, isn't really that fun. But I think that is everything. Yeah, I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this. I know it was kind of a long video, but let me know in the just like comments again if there's anything down like that you wanted to see a closer look at. I'll try to link as many different videos kind of like talking about different things like if you are curious. But guys, thank you so much for 2,000 subscribers. That is insane to me. I really do appreciate everybody who has subscribed, who has been supportive of this channel. It's wild that it's been already a year. I'm really hoping that you guys are enjoying this, all this different content I'm making. I'm having a blast making all of it. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I can't thank you enough. And keep an eye out on my Instagram because I do post on like my stories of like when I'll be doing like different live streams and stuff like that. So keep an eye out on that. And thank you so much for staying till the end of this video. But yeah, I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye.